Hello, you wonderful people. Man, the music must be too loud. But that's okay, because that's how we're gonna kick it today. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Coffee Code, Cry, and Chat. As a single developer on Friday nights, got nothing better to do, so I'm gonna code regardless how many people show up. I'm gonna be here because I wanna continue building out my application. So let me stop my music. I was tired of using SoundCloud, so I created my own app for my own music. You can check it out at mymusicbody.com. Still work in progress, but I'm gonna play some nicer music, different music, not too crazy music. Just something chill and relax. So if you're here, say hello. Northern Chip right here. Always. Northern Chip's always here. Always here. That is awesome. How is everybody doing today? I am super excited to spend this Friday night with you. And you spent the night with me. Drinking some coffee. I think Friday nights, 8 p.m. CST time. It's like the prime time all the regular people like go out and do fun things. But you know what? This is what I do. I'm gonna stream. This is like the only time I have. I'm so busy at work. Friday nights, 8 p.m. CST. People could always watch this on a rewind or replay, I guess. But hello, Northern Jim. Great to have you. So today, I'm probably gonna just jump right in and start coding. I wanna continue to add my music page to my remix application. I kind of explored this a little bit to try to figure out like how to create a music player. Like I'm obviously not gonna build it from scratch. And then the goal is to use this library called Wave Surfer.js and go ahead and add it to our project and try not to cry and have fun. I guess that's the most important thing when you code and fail. But that's what we're going to do. So currently our application is nothing special, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So I will share my screen just a little bit. And I got to remind myself to make sure that when I'm sharing my screen, not going too crazy. So what I'm going to do here is kind of showcase where we at. DHA checking in. How is it going, Paul? What's up? How you doing? I'm doing good. It's Friday night, you know? It's like, do you go out, party, and drink and get completely messed up? Or do you try to stay productive? You try to focus on yourself and your website that you've been trying to build for like 10 years now. So that's what we're doing. We are focusing on the website. Dude, 3 a.m. Truth is, I shouldn't be here. 3 a.m. Yeah, Jesus Christ. I gotta start doing like, for Northern Gym here, I gotta start like doing the Sunday stream more consecutively than the 8 p.m. Friday stream. So yeah, dude, oh my God, 3 a.m. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. And definitely, whenever you want to go to sleep, or if you want to fall asleep to my crazy voice, screaming and crying, like you could as well do that. But no, yeah, 100%. Man, I respect you. 3 a.m., Jesus Christ. I'll probably go to bed also late today because I'm just starting drinking my coffee. Got a little Starbucks action going here. So we have a very simple application here that we're building. Let me zoom in here a little bit. We got our top navigation. We have our homepage. Nothing special, nothing to write to your mom about. We'll style this later. We gotta just slowly build our features in here. And our application, like if, let me go to 1337, it's powered by Strapi, obviously. Obviously, I'm gonna use Strapi because I'm lazy. So we're gonna use a CMS to manage my content. Let me know if the music is too loud and too overpowering. Is my password still monkey1234 monkey? It's been so while. Oh yeah, it's still monkey1234. So we have our content manager. We created our global page. Our global page, that's what controls our top navigation. That's what you see here. This is coming from our global page. Then we have our pages collection type where we have like dynamic pages. And so we added a music page. And so now what I want to do is like build out this music page. And what I want to do is go ahead and create a place to store my music on my website. I should probably start with like, let's build a blog. Working really hard. I keep saying all the time. Man, Yeah, that's awesome. Like, listen, all these videos that's saying like, hey, you know, freaking coding is over, whatever. It's not over. It's all good. It's gonna keep going. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that you're back on the learning journey, learning coding. Keep it up. Is the most important thing. I still don't regret that I switched careers like super late in my like late super 30s, which is called early 40s. I mean, I started learning like really focusing on it at like 35, 36. Now I'm 43, so whatever. The journey continues, you know. We keep it up. We do whatever. So what we're going to do, I made something similar like this in Next.js, and so nobody likes Next.js. I just have to use it at work. But I was building a little mini course for Coding Phase. Everybody loves Coding Phase. I love Coding Phase, so stay tuned. I'll show you how to build something similar like this in Coding Phase with Next.js. But we don't do Next.js on this channel. I mean, because I do it all the time at work. So we're focusing on Remix, the only one most important framework. This is what we're using. This is the best. This is what we should be using. But I do have to promote myself sometimes. So if you go to Strapi website, I started writing this new blog series called Epic Next.js 14 Tutorial Learn by Building Real Life Projects. And so we're building a little app that summarizes videos. It's gonna be pretty awesome. Like, you're able to add like your whatever description. So it's a pretty epic blog post. I'll share a link if you want to check it out, or if you were interested in like doing a Next.js project. Not something that I'm gonna do in my channel here, because we're gonna stick with Remix, because Remix is the best. I only do Next.js because they tell me to do it at work. Thanks. Your story inspires me. You're not late at all. I'm in my early 30s, dude. I would give anything to be early 30s. Jesus Christ, dude, you got this. You definitely got this 100%. You're gonna kill it. Just keep it up. Keep it up. I mean, I didn't get my first job until I was 39. So you're like way ahead of me. So keep it up. Keep it going. Don't give up. All right. So we have our back end with Strapi. We have our front end. And so we're going to try to add some our music player stuff. So I did do some research ahead of time just to try to kind of figure out like, you know, how to do things. And so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to open my project in VS Code. Let me go to my front end. So CD front end, open in VS Code, make it bigger. And yeah, I guess that's illegible. Or do I need to zoom in a little bit? I think that's good. So currently right now, like what we have is our project structure is we have our routes, and this is where we have our routes for our project. Our index route is our homepage. So whatever you see displayed here, you see our hero. That is being this is the hero section that we're having displayed here. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to work on building out a music page. So we have a dynamic routes, which I'm not actually going to use for my music page, because I'm going to have different pages like for my blog posts and my regular website. So the music page I'm going to make separate. And so to do that, I'm actually just going to create a new route, and I'm literally going to call it music.tsx. So in routes, I'm going to make a new file. I'm going to say music.tsx. And if I do this, apparently I spelled musics with an X. That's stupid. So we're going to fix that. So I'm going to go music. So here's the one thing that I want to tell you. If you're learning to code, definitely stick to one framework. And if you're just starting out, like I would suggest stick with Next.js as a beginner. After you learn React, because it's very popular. And once you kind of get the basics of Next.js, you could try other frameworks. I really love Remix, and that's why we're doing Remix here. And I mean, you could start with Remix as well. You're still learning. Actually, don't listen to me. Do whatever makes sense for you. I love Remix. I should just stick by my guns and say you could also build stuff with Remix. The cool thing about Remix, when you learn Remix, you're actually not relying so much on the framework. It's actually, compared to Next.js, it's a very light framework. And so you're actually learning a lot of web stuff. So I actually say, no, start with Remix, whatever. I'm going to stick to my guns. So we created our music.tsx page. So in theory, if I go to music here, because Remix uses route file-based routing, boom, we have our music route. We have it here. And by the way, at any time, if anybody has questions or wants to chat about anything, let me know. It doesn't have to be just one. So we have our music route. What's cool now, when I click my music menu that I had before, it takes us to this new music route that we created because it takes precedence. So now that we have our music route, I'm going to create a page for us to store our data, you know, for our music. And our music is going to have a little like basic home page, which is going to show like a little image, little message, and then we're going to have a search bar. So it's going to look similar to what I started to do in my other project. Let me do my music buddy. So we're going to like kind of create something similar. We're going to have this little hero section like we have here with a heading, subheading. Then we'll add our music today, and we'll talk about search and pagination later, not today. So this is like kind of like our UI we're going to try to build. So yeah, so we're going to start in Strapi. I'm going to go to my content type builder, create new single type, and I'm going to create the thing that I'm going to call music page. And I'm going to create continue. And we're going to have a, let me just start very simple. We're going to have a text for title that we could use for a meta. We're going to add another field. We're going to say text, long text, and there's going to be description. And we're going to say finish, and let's save here. So we created our basic homepage. And what I want to do in my homepage is I do want to have a hero section. We already created a hero section component here. Let me check it out. Like, let me go to content type builder, content manager, content builder. We already created a hero component last time. So oops, yeah, so we could, where's my hero? Where's my hero? Here. We created this hero, which has a heading, text, and image. So we're kind of all set to store data, and it'll have a link if you want to have. So we kind of want to have this. So we have the heading, subheading, and the image. And so we already created a component to allow us to, that we could reuse in Strapi for our header. And so we're actually going to reuse this. So this is going to be very similar to our homepage. So notice how on our homepage, we have our blocks and we have our dynamic zone for our hero section. We're actually going to do something similar. And realizing that, I could have actually just used our page collection type that we created, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna save that for other pages. So I'm gonna go to my music page. I'm gonna add another field, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna add a dynamic zone because I want to be able to populate some of these items dynamically, and we're gonna call it blocks like I did before. I'm gonna click add component to the zone. We're gonna use an existing component, and we're going to use our hero component. I'm gonna click finish, click save, and you know what? Our music page is done. There's you know what? So here's the thing. So there's so many different ways to do things in Strapi. And what's up, Zach? How many days would it take to learn React? I'm actually using React. I'm using React with Remix. I think Remix is an amazing library. So we're building a Remix application, which is server-side rendered. It's pretty awesome. I love it, and it's cool. I also do Next.js, but here's the beauty. If you learn React, you'll be able to build projects either with Remix or Next.js, so that's pretty awesome. And that's what I'm doing. And no, web development's not finished. A lot of people keep saying that. You know, like the truth is, like, I'm so sick and tired. Like, here's the thing. This is what I'm going to tell you. Web development is not going to be finished. It might change over time and the things that you're responsible for. But if you want to learn to code and this is something that you like, definitely do it. I don't regret my decision. And I still would tell, like, I tell my daughter, she's 23 now. I'm like, just do computer science, do like development, do whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you like it, just do it because you like it. There are going to be jobs there. There's so, and a lot of people, like, they either think about working at Fang. There's so many startups that you could work for. There's so many smaller companies. Yeah, they're not a school of Fang. I never worked at Fang. I don't even want to work at Fang. But there's actually a lot of opportunities. When you hear a lot about layoffs, it's literally from the big companies. You know what I mean? Of course, there's small companies that left too, but people then rehire. So here's the funny thing. I've been at companies, like my company had layoffs a while ago. My friend's company had layoffs. What's funny, after they lay off, it's like they get their, it's like they lay people off so their numbers for their like reporting looks good. But then like 2 months later, 3 months later, they rehire. So I wouldn't worry about it. And by the way, you're 23, Jesus Christ. Yeah, don't listen to anybody on YouTube telling you that coding is over. They're a bunch of, sorry, I almost swore, like they're a bunch of idiots. Just keep learning, do the thing that you want to do, and you're going to be awesome. If you don't mind, I have a question. I was trying to use fetch some data using loader and use loader data, but the data is always null when I check console log data. So where you, so yeah, we'll take a look at an example because I'm doing, yeah, definitely continue learning web development. So, we'll take a look at it in just a second, and we already have a loader that we're using. And so, by the way, the first thing that I want to do, are you loading data from like an external API, or are you doing it from Remix? Since I'm using a Strapi, that's my source of truth. That's where my data is coming. So let's like, I'll show you in the code here. So I'm in the right project, I think. Yeah, so if we take a look at the app folder, I'm in the wrong project. I think so. Hold on a second. Yeah, I have so many projects. This is a different project. Let me close this. This is a disgusting Next.js project. Let me go here. So yeah, so here we are. This is what we're doing. So we already have our index route. And inside our index route, I am getting my data from Strapi. And what I did, just to make sure that my loader doesn't get, oh, I decided I'm not sharing my screen like an idiot. Thank you for reminding me. So here we are in the Remix application. Dude, comes from a FANG employee at Amazon, Tech Rally, Web that, you know what? Tech Rally, please spread the rumors. Tell people there's no jobs. I don't want any competition. Like, tell them to go home. Tell them to go, like, F themselves. I agree with you. Yeah, you know what? Web dev is dead. Listen to Tech Rally. He's right. That's what's happening. So, the truth is, you know what? You do what, like, there's so many YouTubers, all the influencers, I'm going to say it, on YouTube, I'm not going to say they're morons, but I don't make money on YouTube. So to me, I don't have an incentive to promote the YouTube algorithm game and tell people like, hey, do this, do that, just because I know people are going to watch the video. I just do YouTube because I'm lonely. I'm single. I have no life. I sadly sit here and cry. Oh God. No, but I just like enjoy chatting on YouTube and creating videos. And also it helps me to chat and talk about, you know, how to code, how to become a better developer. So no, like, oh God, like it's not dead. Like keep doing it, you know, just learn the thing. And here's the thing, even if it's dead, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? Like outside of that, like what other things you're going to do? Like, you know what I mean? So to me, like, you know, it's not dead. It's all good. You're going to be fine. Hi, the video on Strapi channel about Next.js project will be recorded. Yes, so I'm recording more videos for Strapi. I already released one. Since you brought it up, I don't mind promoting it and sharing it. I did write the first epic blog post that you could check out. It's really long, and I'm going to continue. Next.js. We don't do Next.js at this channel, but you brought it up. At work, I do Next.js. But there's the video. You can find the video here. The first video. So the next video is going to be out on Monday. And we're gonna cover like the nonsense, you know, and keep going. You can't skip the ad when you pause it. That is insane. Insane. Yeah, so the first video is out, so you could start. We start with the first project. We do show you how to like start building it. We cover, you know, Next 14, how to set up a project using Shetsi and UI and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, we're going to keep it whatever. We're back to Remix. That's what we're doing here. So coming back to, nice, Logic's here. Hello, I'm learning web dev too. Paul seems to really like Remix and Strapi, so I'm going to check these out. Yeah, Remix is awesome. The thing with Remix is like, if you using Remix, so here's the thing. Next.js is awesome. I'm not going to lie. But if you use Next.js, you're doing things Next.js way. When you're using Remix, you're relying a lot on like normal web APIs. And to me, like as a developer learning to code, or if you're learning to code, that's a great way to do it because you're like you're not relying on too many things. That's wild. I made a video today. Haha. I'm gonna have to check it out. Yeah. And the High Video and Strap channel about Next.js project will be recorded. Yes, I already answered. That's Ryan Reynolds. Yes, I am Ryan Reynolds, but just like the budget version that you buy at dollar store, and better looking. Yes. And yes, I agree with the EU for the whatever. Next. Yeah, and thanks, Strapi's amazing tool. Migrate from what? Yeah, it's super awesome. I love it. I mean, I'm so lazy. I build all my projects with it just because it's easier. Like, I'm totally ignored the ad, and I just assumed you were telling me how beautiful I look. That's basically how I operate. You know what? So back to the thing. Let's talk about here. Like, let me find that. Blah 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 blah. Let me. Where's the comment, if you don't mind? Yeah, this one. Let's get back to this one. So some data using loader and use loader data, but the data is always null when I check the console log data. So let's come back to that example before we build out our thing. So look at my project. Here I have my loader function, and I'm getting the data. And I am getting this data if we navigate to this function, because I'm using Strapi. I'm not directly talking to a database. I'm getting my data from my Strapi application. And so when I console log the response, I am going to get, let me restart my project, yarn dev. I think this is the correct one. Yep, remix dev, nice. Let me open the right project here. I think I started it twice. Hold on. CD frontend. Let me kill the, like, I think I have too many windows running stuff. Yeah. Let me go here. Let me do yarn dev, restart everything. So I'll show you the right project. So it's restarting. That's why it's complaining. But we could have put a nicer error page here, which we'll do later. So yeah. So if we take a look at our homepage, we are getting the data. If we console log, because the items in the loader, that runs in the server, you should see your console log in the loader. So if you're returning null, whatever you're doing here, you're not getting the data. So like, what are you trying to do in terms of, like, are you getting data from your own database, or are you getting it from Strapi? That could kind of help. But whatever you're doing it, if you're returning null, the only way you could return null is because either the API returning null, which usually they don't, they return like a JSON object with whatever data, or something that you're doing here, you're returning null. But without me seeing your code, that's as much as I could say. And hello, Jose, good to see you. What's up? So anyway, we're gonna keep working on this. So I was kind of like losing my mind because I was undecided if I make a separate music page or do I use my collection type. So on Strapi, you could do it multiple different ways. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this regular page here. I'm gonna delete this because I mean, there's two ways to do it. We could have, oh God, decisions. You know what? I'm gonna do, yeah, I'll just do global. God damn it. All these decisions. I'm gonna delete it. Because we're gonna do it the other way. So I'm gonna go music page, edit, delete. Why? Because I want to show you something different. You know what? I'm going to stick that. So we're going to we already started creating our dynamic page, and this will make more sense as we continue to build it. But what I'm going to do is I have this collection type called page, and we might have like multiple pages. I already created a page called music, but we might have a page about. So like, let's do that. So like, check this out. I'm going to create a new entry. I'm going to say about. This is coming from the, dude, that's not how you spell coming. Are you serious? 1M? Huh. Coming from the about page. And I'm going to save and publish. Then I'm going to go to my global. And I'm gonna add a link for our about page. And by the way, if you missed how I build this, you could check out previous streams. I cover exactly how I did this. Click save. And so now when I go to my Remix application and refresh, notice we have our about page. So when I click on my about page, this is coming from my about page. So whatever I typed in my about page, this is the data that we get. And I like actually this approach because now actually I like this better because I'm able to dynamically create my content, or not me even, like my content editor who's managing this website. Let's say hypothetically I have a manager who manages content for me. They could add the content here and all of that will be automatically generated on my website. So we're gonna keep it this way. And so the basic flow here, I'll just quickly review, is we have our application, and I'm gonna delete the music route because we don't need it. And so we have our homepage route, and then we have our dynamic route. So whatever slug we get, that will render the page. So for instance, when we navigate to music, right? The way we going to set up this dynamic route here is that it gets the params. So it gets /music or /about or /contact page. And then what it does, it will get the data from Strapi based on that slug. So if we take a look at our get page data, go to the definition, I'm basically filtering my response via the slug. And so from Strapi, we get that single page that we're getting. And if it's confusing, let me know. I'll answer it. But otherwise, we're gonna keep moving. If anybody has questions about anything like that, let me know. Have a chat. Let me get a sip of my coffee. Nice. We're hanging out, having fun. I'm drinking my coffee. I haven't started to cry yet, so we're making good progress. So now what we want to do, let's go to our content type builder. So we know that our music page should have a hero section. We already created a content called the hero section here. So I'm going to click, like we already have it. So I'm going to go to my content type builder, to my page, and I'm going to add another field. I'm going to add a dynamic zone. This is where we're going to have all of our dynamic sections. So I'm going to call it blocks. I'm going to add a component to the zone. It's going to use existing component. I'm going to say I want to use the hero section. Click finish, finish, and let's save. So now, when I go to my content manager under pages, and I go back to my music page, I now have this thing, add a component block. We have this hero section. So I'm going to add Hot Turtle. Don't ask me anything about Hot Turtle, but SoundCloud. I have a SoundCloud account and my music name is Hot Turtle. I don't know why. Don't ask me. Anyway, so I have my music on SoundCloud, but I don't want the constantly go on SoundCloud. I want my music, people just listen to it on my website. So that's what we're doing. So inside our Strapi app, so I'm going to say, Hot Turtle, this is my music. And I'm going to add an image, which is going to be our background image. Let's add an image, browse files. Do I have any crazy... Yeah, I like the city here. I'm going to add that one. And click upload and finish. We're not going to have a link on that page, so I'm not going to add it. Save. So here's the thing. So now I added content to my page. If I go to my settings, roles, just to show you that we have our page endpoint, and I'm already allowing find one and find one, and we're able to get our page by the slug. So if I go to Insomnia, we'll test with Insomnia first. So I'm able to say music, click send, and it's going to say not found. And the reason why it's not found is because we want to make sure that we're calling the right endpoint. So the endpoint is pages, and let's go here, Insomnia. and we're going to say API add pages. If I do API add pages, it's actually going to get all the pages. So notice how we have our music page and we have our about page. In order for me to get the music page, I got to filter by the slug. So here's an interesting thing here, Northern Chimp. That's a really good question. Let me kind of talk about this. So I was thinking of integrating SoundCloud, but then I decided since I'm already putting so much work, I don't want to like use SoundCloud because I'm already doing all this work. Why not try to create something that others can use and it kind of serves my needs? So here's the issue with SoundCloud. I'm going to show you here in a second. And I'm actually going to build this as a side project because I do like music. Like if you go to SoundCloud and you go home, you go feed, it's just people like sharing music. And sometimes they add hearts. They add little comments and they tell you, oh, your song is good. Oh, it's so awesome. But this is not helpful for me because I actually don't want people just to listen to my music because I am new to music and I realize I'm not sharing my screen again. So going back to SoundCloud here, let me go back here. So when you go to SoundCloud, you go to the feed that people sharing their music and they're like, you can do little hearts, you like the music. But for me, this is not interesting because I don't want people just to listen to my music. I want to create a community similar to like build in public. I want to make music in public. And so I want to create a community where people could give me feedback and help me learn how to improve my music. So the general idea, because I'm building this already in a separate app, I was like, why not have my music on my website? But what I learned about building this component, I could apply in my little SaaS product idea that I'm having. And it's still in progress, but the idea is I'm going to have this thing called My Music Buddy. And I'm actually building this in Remix and Next.js just so I could understand both frameworks very well. But people will be able to sign in, and I haven't finished. Like I'm still working on it. But once people sign in, they're going to have a dashboard, and there's obviously nothing here yet, but just use your imagination. There's going to be a dashboard. You're going to be able to like have your music. You're going to be able to kind of give feedback to music. So the idea is to bring a bunch of different new musicians together who are able to kind of help each other write better songs. And then the second part of it, once that community grows, I probably won't finish this app. Let's be real about it. But the idea is once the community grows, you're going to have a bunch of people that are music tutors. And I'm going to connect beginner musicians with music tutors and do like with the simul for singing. I'm going to have to check it out. I've never saw that website, but there's a bunch singing, simul, singing. But I think like, yeah, so like I think this idea of like building communities. All right. That's like karaoke stuff. Kind of, you know, that's a little cringe for me, like right here. But I like anything that looks like TikTok, I'm like, but yeah. But the idea is like, yeah, is to build a community where I could bring people together so I could actually just get people help me become a better musician for free. That's basically what I'm trying to do. Like, who am I kidding? But anyway, so that's the idea. Is like, since I'm already building these things, why not like kind of incorporate them into my website? So, okay, so we basically go back to Insomnia, and so we're getting our pages. So now what I want to do is I want to filter by the slug, and we're already doing it inside our actually we're not doing it yet, we're going to do it. So in Strapi, when you make a request, you have different populate and filtering flags you could use. So we actually have Strapi query builder. And what I'm able to do is I'm able to tell through using filters, through like populate, to kind of tell Strapi what data I want to get. So we're kind of going to build out our little query to be able to get our page. So if we take a look at our page in Strapi, we see that our page has a slug. So what we're going to do, we're going to filter by the slug. And for now, I'm just going to hard code it here. I'm going to say slug has to equal music because that's the page we're looking for. And then populate fields, I'm going to quickly talk to you here. So when we go to our page, music page, we have our hero component here. This is not going to be automatically populated, and I'll talk about it a little bit in just a second. But first, let's do one step at a time. So right now I'm filtering by the slug. And so let me go. So this is going to be API pages, I believe. And let me copy this query string. And when we go back to Insomnia, so I like to like work slow. So when I'm building like an endpoint, I want to make sure that I test the endpoint first, that it works. So now when I filter noise, we're just getting the music page, which is fantastic. But what we're not getting is we're not getting our hero section. So if we take a look here, I'm not getting this hero section, but you could see that this hero section lives in our blocks. And the reason why we're not getting all the data is because we want to prevent underfetching and overfetching. So we have to tell Strapi what we want to do. Oh, that's cool. I got ADHD. So this is back on the Smule app that we just took a look at. People rate on each other saying, yeah. So basically I think that's what I want. I want people to rate their songs, but also be able to give good feedback and actually piggyback ideas. And somebody's probably saying, why don't you make something like that for web development and portfolio stuff? I know, another great idea that I started a long time ago and never finished. But that's why I'm not like committing too much to this whole music app thing, but I am committing to having my music on my website at least. So what we want to do is, if we take a look at our content type builder and we look at our homepage, because this is the easier way to, on our page, easier way to see we have our blocks. So what we need to do is populate our blocks. And so inside our query builder, we're going to say blocks. And this is going to populate all of our block components. But inside our blocks, we have our hero section. If you take a look at the hero section, our hero section has the heading text, the image. It's a relation because it has a bunch of other items. It's not a single field. So we actually have to tell Strapi populate the image. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go inside here. So from blocks, I also want to populate the image. And the image has bajillion fields. I just want to get the URL. And then I think it's alternative text. I'm guessing. And so now if I take this query here and test in my Insomnia, in theory, I should be getting all of my data that I need. So let's click send. Perfect. So noise, and I don't know if you let me zoom in here. Boom. So now you could see, not only am I getting my music page, the title, the description, the slug, but I'm now also getting my blocks, which has my heading, my text. I didn't populate my image, so I did something wrong there. So in order to populate this, I messed up. I need to do populate again, and then say populate my image. So now let's try that again. Let's see if we fix it, but we're getting there. So let's see here. But the good news, once I know that we're getting the right data, I know 100% that my API works. So API page, no space here. Click send. Hold on. Internal service message. Look. Copy it correctly. That would help without the space. Populate blocks, populate image. That looks like you. Okay, let's try that again. Local host. Let me see that I didn't kill my server. Still running. Filters, that looks right. Music, populate. Actually, so let's try it again. Click send. And we're getting 500 error. Pages. Let me see. Send. So I'm definitely messing up my filtering. So that happens. Let's see. Populate blocks. Image. URL. This. Oh God. I tried to rush too fast. So I am telling populate the image, but here URL and alternative text, they're fields. So I have to say the fields that I want to populate. So I have to say fields first. And by the way, this is a lesson why everybody should be reading documentation. And so you could always go Strapi docs, right? And you could go ahead and Strapi docs, click developer docs, and just do populate or field selection here. And here you could see it will walk you through and kind of tell you what you need to do when you're populating, like what items you're able to use. You could just like read the stuff, but basically what I didn't specify is I didn't specify the fields attribute when populating fields. So now like my query should be correct and it should work. So let's give it a try again. It's okay. It's okay. You know what, Jacob? I'm going to say you were 10,000 bajillions subscriber. That's what we're going to say. We're just going to, you know what? Just the fact that you owned it here, Jacob, no matter who is the 10,000 subscriber, you're it. You're the person. That's it, Jacob. That's how it works. You said it. That's you. Anyway, so let's test our Insomnia API again. I think my crier meter is slowly filling up before I start crying. All right, perfect. So now we could see that we're getting our data from our hero section, which is fantastic. And we have our, you know, all this beautiful stuff here. So now we could actually focus on trying to... Yeah, you're the 10,000 subscriber, 100%. So now we know that our API works. Now we can actually write the code to fetch our data. And we kind of already started writing our code here. And let me go back to my query builder. Like I'm going to copy this because we're going to use it. And so let's go to our Remix application. That's the best. So we already have this page that dynamically check what slug that we're on, and it passes that slug to our get page data. If we take a look at our get page data, we have that filter that we started, and we just added additional populate prop here to get the rest of the data that we need. So now when I add it here, we should be getting exactly the data that we tested with Insomnia inside our Remix application. So let's check here. So we already console log in the data. So in theory, when I navigate to my music page, so the slug, so let me back up here. So whenever you go to my web page and whenever you change from page to page, you see, you are the slug here, the URL changes. So when we go to music, it's music. When we go to about, that is the slug. And so what I want to use is use the slug. So if it's about, use about to get the data for the about page. If it's music, use that music slug to get the data. And so in our code, whatever you see here in the URL, we are getting it via the params inside our loader. And then we're taking that slug and we're passing it to our get page data. And inside our get page data, we are querying that data. Hold on a second. Let me go back to, wait, close it here. And we're querying that data based on that slug. So if I get about, it says, hey, check if the page equals about, then return it to us. And that's what we're doing. And that's what's going to be returning our data for the particular page that we get. The one thing that I want to check here is routes, the index, like good. And so perfect. So now in theory, this is about coming from the about page. So in theory, if I go to music, it's not saying anything. I am gonna double check now. So let's see here, slug ID. Dynamic route. I am kind of curious. I think I did something. So routes index slug. I removed the music route, so I don't understand why it's still returning the old stuff. Maybe I just have to, maybe there's some caching, or I'm running the wrong project. No, I don't think I am. About music. See, this is, I deleted this. So let me check something out here. Let me go here. Control C, coding after 30, Git. I'm in the right place. Let me check something. CD front end, ls, code. I just want to see something cache. Let me remove the cache. It might be caching that old page. And let me restart and see if that fixes it. CD back. And then let me see. Let me just run it separately. CD backend. Let me start the backend. Yarn develop, just so it's easier to manage. And then once the backend starts, we'll try again. I think what I was doing is it was caching the old page. So let's do yarn dev and try again. Maybe we'll see. Oh, that's the name that I gave it, Jacob. Like I could have called it like page ID. I just called it a slug, but that was the name that I gave. It could have been like whatever name that I gave it. Okay, so it was caching. So now you could see that we're getting the music page data when we navigate to music. And then if I go to about, notice we're getting our about page. And notice how, this is the cool part. Our about page doesn't have any blocks. So notice how we're not getting any blocks. So this is how you dynamically could generate pages from the Strapi side of things, but have your front end display only the pages that you're being returned. So if I go to music, notice now we're getting our blocks. And so now what we want to do is we want to create some sort of block renderer that we already started last stream or the stream before that, that will kind of tell us what to return. And we could look at our code as an example here. So if we go to our index, no, I didn't do that. You know what? We could do that now. So here on our homepage, I'm hard coding, but we could create a thing like a switch statement, which will basically allow us to ask Strapi like, hey, does the hero block exist? If so, go ahead and show to us. And if it doesn't exist, right, like show something else. So that's what we're going to do, if that makes sense. Let's look at the comments. No comments. Sounds good. So what we're going to do here, and what's cool is like we might have like different sections. We could create a utility. That's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to build it within here first. And then if we need to, we'll move it out. So we're going to create a function and we're going to call it, let's say function, and we're going to call it blocks renderer. And it's going to get a block. We're going to just type it as any because we'll figure it out. We're going to call it like block. And then we also want the index, which is going to be, I think indexes are numbers. Yep, a number. And here what we're going to do, we are going to create a switch statement. And auto code is telling me that's what I need to do, but we're going to check. So we're going to look at our response that we were getting. So yeah, so we have a thing called add components. So we have blocks and then we have components. Copy. So what we want to do is we want to check component called layout hero. So here it's going to be blocks at component. That's correct. So because that's here. And if the case is layout hero, here I'll just copy. Yeah, already copied it here. No, I didn't copy it. I thought I did. Layout hero. Come on, you little buddy. Come on, you could do it. If it's layout hero, we're gonna say return our hero component. So let's import our hero component that we already have. We created it last stream. So let's import hero component from hero. And we're going to say default would be return null. That means there's nothing there. Switch state should have at least 3 case clauses. Are you kidding me? So that's messed up. We're just gonna create layout features, which we'll create later. It doesn't exist yet, but we're just gonna say return features. We don't have a features component, so I'm just gonna return p tag. This will be features. I'm really annoyed with my VS Code. At least, you know, this is like so annoying because like you don't need to have 3 cases. There's something wrong I'm doing here. Hold on a second. Let me back up here. Hold on. Return. Wait. I'm missing like a semicolon somewhere. Hold on a second. Default. Yeah, default return null. Oh, yeah, it's not this one. Yeah, it's that one. Look, I gotta not make mistakes. I did by accident the semicolon, but we need the 2.1. Anyway, so that's what I was complaining. Stupid VS Code. Renderer, probably let's call it like that. Renderer, switch. Okay, that's fine. We don't care about it. So the reason why I have all these squiggly lines everywhere, because I hate myself and I have this extension, which is actually pretty awesome when you're learning TypeScript. It's called Error Lens. It just complains about everything. So go ahead, install this, and hate your life just as much as I hate mine. All right, so that's fine. So basically what we have this component called block renderer. And what it's going to do when we get our data, we're going to map through our data, and we're going to kind of see like, hey, if a component called layout hero exists, go ahead and render it. So here, what we're going to do now, and we'll refactor this later, but we're going to do data blocks. I don't know if this is correct. Hold on. But we're going to pass in our block renderer. Let me come back here. So let's see what data we're getting. So console log the data. Console log their data. Make sure we're getting it here. Let me go here. Let me remove the loader. Slug loader. Let me remove the extra console logs so it's not polluting me anywhere. All right, slug ID. Let's go to index. Let's remove this console log from this loader because we want to see what the hell we're getting in here. So dude, typing this is gonna, like, I'm gonna come back to later, but we're just gonna say blocks is array of any, because I don't want to go through typing every particular block we're gonna make. We'll do that later. So we're just gonna cheat. So let's see our console log here. What does our data look like? So we're console logging it here. My application is running. We have a bunch of errors from previous. Let me go to my refresh. So music, about music. Okay, so here we go. So we do have our data, and we're getting the array. Okay, so I see the issue here. So notice how we're getting an array, but we just want one item. So one way to fix this is here inside our loader, because we know wait, hold on a second. I am returning. Hold on, data. Hold on a second. Hold on. We have too many datas. Let me back up here. Instead of console logging here, let me console log it from the loader. From the loader, console log data, and see what we get. So we do get the data, and then we get meta, but the data is array of our pages. Okay, that makes sense. So then if I do data dot this like I'm doing here, that should be just an object. All right, yeah, so I am getting just the object. So I should have data dot blocks. I see. So you know what messed me up? It's the auto chat GP, whatever the hell, Copilot messed me up because it didn't know that it should be this. And then I had to go through that whole process. But then it says blocks doesn't exist. Now I'm really confused. Now I'm going to select data here. Oh, it's just stupid. And we'll come back to that. What is happening? This is why I hate TypeScript, because sometimes TypeScript just messes you up more than it saves. But I'm still learning TypeScript. I'm not going to give up on TypeScript. We're going to cry together. I think the cry meter is getting to like the next level. So we're here at music. Okay, so we're getting the params, we're getting the data. So we are getting data. Hold on, we're getting data and params. So let me actually do this. Let me destructure that straight up from our data and params, so I don't have to worry about it. Params. Yep, not yeah. So we're just gonna say params here. And we're just gonna say data. I just wanna back kind of for my own sake, just simplify stuff so it doesn't blow my brain. And so let's take a look here. So now we get our, let me refresh this. Sometimes like watching people code, like it's got to be boring. So now we have our data. So in data, we should have our blocks. I don't know what the hell you're complaining. So we do blocks. Now it's not complaining. Jesus Christ. Anyway, we're doing good. We're doing good. So now we should have our blocks. We do have our blocks, I'm pretty sure. Like, let me refresh. Okay. Yes, we got our blocks. So now we should be able to do data.blocks.map. And that should call our block renderer. And we should render our hero. And bam. So here's the thing though, I don't want my hero to look like this. So we're going to create a music hero or music header component. But this is a good start. We're getting our data. Nice. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep this hero section the way it is. And I'm going to create a new component, custom, called new file. And I'm going to call it hero music. I'm going to call it music header .tsx rfc. And then not to spoil our font too much, I actually have the component that I created before, so I'm not gonna recreate the wheel from bajillion times here. So I'm going to import it and we'll talk about it in a second. So this is going to be called the music hero. Control find. Let's rename. And I'm using chat CN UI. I'm not doing anything interesting here. I'm going to call it music heading. That's what I called it. The props should stay no, the props not going to stay the same. This is going to be... We're going to figure out the props in a second here. This is going to be completely different. We'll get there when we'll get there. We're going to fix this in a second. We're going to say data is any. because it's not quite matching up to what I'm doing this application. Background image, it's nothing fancy. I'm actually gonna get this here. We're just gonna use, I don't remember if last time I created the Strapi image component here. I did not. So we're gonna have a new component here. And I'll talk through this in just a second. Because I'm lazy. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be more work than I thought. But it's okay. Oh God. Okay, we're just gonna do it. So we're gonna have a custom component called new file Strapi image, and I'll talk about this in just a second. Oh no, this I'm adding too much complexity. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me back up here. Music header. We're just gonna keep it simple. We're gonna fix it later. Here, we're just gonna say it's an image component. Image. And that's gonna take the source, which is gonna be background image URL. And that's gonna fail. It's okay. It's okay. So we'll work through it. So we don't need this at the moment. I'm just gonna add the styling that I had before. That's fine. So we'll figure it out. I just copying like classes from my, because I don't want to like just, I hate doing like CSS. So I already created the component, so I'm just copying the styles. So looking at this component, all it is just going to be our music heading component. We're going to get our data. We're going to have to adjust this in just a second. And then we're going to have our image background, our heading, and our description. But I think in this application, we called it something else. So I'm going to fix it in a second. So if you go to our content builder, we go to our hero section. This is like the issue with like reusing code, because sometimes things are gonna be different. So we have our hero component has heading and text. So let's see here. Our hero component will have heading, which is a string, and text, which is a string. And then it has an image, and image has URL and alternative text. Good job, VS Code. And so now let's just console log data and return H1 testing, so our app doesn't complain. Dude, it's caching the old stuff because it shouldn't be showing this. Let me restart my app. Oh wait, no, because I'm still pointing to the old component. This is perfectly fine. So now what I have to do is go to here, and instead of using our hero, we're going to import our music heading and use that instead of our hero. Music heading. And so now let's take a look. So now it has testing, and we should be able to see our console log. Hold on, I have too many console logs. Let me look at the Bogey. I know. I'm surprised you're up. Like, I think Bogey. Jesus Christ, Bram. Yeah, no, I also stream on Sundays, 11 a.m. CST time sometimes. But listen, it's because I'm single, you know. What am I supposed to do Friday night? Just stay home, relax. So let's go to our code and let's remove all the necessary console logs. I didn't have too many console logs. Console log. Or I have console dir. Whoops, console. I saw console log for data. Yeah, let's keep this one. Oh no, I'm an idiot because this is already happening on the client. I should see all these items here. Inspect, because that's on the client. So confusing sometimes. Yeah, so here we have our object and we are getting our heading, our image, and our text. So perfect. So now we'll deal with the image in just a second. Notice how it doesn't have the prepend URL of like localhost 1337. So we'll have to fix it in a second, which we'll do. So we know we're getting the data. So we're getting our heading and our text. So I'm gonna do heading. So it's gonna be heading, and then here's gonna be our text, and we're gonna destructure that. We're gonna say const heading text and image. Image is gonna be our background image. So for now, just so it works, we're gonna do the ugly way, and then we'll fix it. HTTP localhost 1337 plus image. And so now, all things considered, when we go to our application, we have, boom, our image, our heart turtle. This is my music. And so I could delete all the extra stuff from the page that we don't need. Because our page is going to be rendered by our block renderer. I'm just going to put it inside a div. We could also put it inside a fragment. So we are making progress, albeit very slowly. We don't worry about the params for now. It is going to break when we go to other pages because I think we should do a check if blocks exist first, but it's okay. We'll fix in a second. So boom. Now we have our music hero section showing up, which is awesome. Dude, if you're talking about my projects, to do a speed run later this week on how many bugs you can find in my project, it's going to be 1 billion. If you talk about Strapi, that's also a good idea. But I think, yeah, that's cool. So what time is it? I'm still going. I'll go another 20 minutes. I know I don't get a lot of viewers, which is fine. I don't care because I'm literally would stream if I have 1 viewer, 7 viewer, it doesn't matter viewers. So now that we are getting that data, this is beautiful. But here's the thing here. Now if I go to about page, it doesn't break. I know why it doesn't break. This I already like I knew like just return null. So the reason why it doesn't break is here. I'll show you why. Because our block renderer checks, and if we don't have any blocks, it just returns null, which is great. So it doesn't break anything. So I think if let's say if I put a message here, p tag no blocks found, if I'm like, you know, that's what it should say, no blocks found. And of course it doesn't, because that's not why. And now I'm curious. So dude, my cats are like right on my table, both of them. They're like going nuts. You know what? I was wrong. But it should break. I'm surprised why it's not breaking, because I am very curious. We are in the dynamic route, data blocks. Let's do data blocks right here. We're concentrating data blocks. So it does return an empty array. But then if it's an empty array, wouldn't it would have returned that? Whatever. I'm not going to complain about it right now. It's not breaking. We'll talk about it later. So now that that works, that's pretty cool. So now our our page renders our music heading, which is kind of cool. And so next we could work on adding our music here, which we'll do in a second. Yeah, so okay, that's fine. Let me like look at the comments here really briefly. You thought I knew why it didn't break, and then I realized that I didn't know. And then I think I know why, because it still returns an empty array, and then, but it should still say some message here, but whatever, it's fine. Anyway, we're gonna do the final step here. So I'm gonna introduce this. So I found this library because I don't build stuff from scratch until I really need to. So I found this library called Wavesurfer.js, and it basically allows you to create cool music players. And so I literally went to their React example, copied this code, and modified it to fit my needs. Now, there are certain things that I did when I was building this component, and I'll walk you through it. We're probably not going to implement it because we have to implement a couple of other things first. But at least I'll start, show you the code and walk through it. We do need to do some like improvements in Remix before we do that, because we want to fix this issue we're having. Where's my code? Where did it go? We want to fix this issue inside the music heading where we are hard coding this. So actually forget the music component. Let's fix this first. So we want to create a way to be able to automatically decide if our image is hosted locally in Strapi or is it being served via URL. And so for us, if you go to utils here, we don't have those utils yet. So I'm gonna add those utils and I'll walk you through them. I used it in my previous project, and it's kind of cool, like, because I'm kind of building a bunch of projects, I'm starting to get a collection of little code snippets that I could quickly reuse to build out projects quickly. And I think that's like a really cool benefit. But if we go, I'll show you, like, I'm gonna find it here. I have my examples. Oh my God, this is gonna be annoying. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna paste this in and we'll try to work through this. So here's an issue when you're working with Remix. With Remix, things happen sometimes on the server and sometimes on the client. The issue is, I want to be able to get this URL from the environmental variable, but this environmental variable only appears on the server. So I need to make it publicly available, which we'll take a look in a second. Right now, it's not a big deal because I'm hard coding this fallback. And so if we don't have the Strapi API URL in the NV, which I don't, it's going to return this. But basically, we're going to use this getStrapi URL function that's going to be used inside this getStrapi media. And what we're doing, we're just checking a couple of different things. And based on the check, it will either return and append the URL to it, or it will just return it as is. And so we're going to use this getStrapi media inside our Strapi image component that I create, and that moving forward is going to make working with images so much easier, regardless if they're, let's say, living in Cloudinary or they're being served locally by my Strapi app in development. And so I'll create that component and we'll walk through the code, what it does. It's nothing crazy. So let's go here. We're gonna go custom, new file, Strapi image.tsx, and we're gonna import the code here and we'll walk through it. So basically all it is, it's an image component that's using our getStrapi media to check, is the file stored locally in Strapi, like in the public directory, or is it being served, let's say, by using Cloudinary or something like that? And we're gonna check it. And based on that, we're going to return the appropriate URL here. And that way our image component won't fail. So now what I could do inside my music header, I should be able to replace this with Strapi image, and all I need to do is pass the image URL, and I don't have to hard code anything. And in theory, this should work. So let's double check. And go to our music. Env is not defined. Okay, we got to fix that problem. Okay, so the way I could fix it right now is by saving it for next stream. And I think it is going to be a little bit involved, because what we need to do, we need to be able to kind of say, we want to have the access to our environmental variables both on the server and client. So for now, I'm going to do the ugliest fix ever, and then we'll come back and fix it. So because it's going to be more involved, so I'm going to save it for next stream. So I'm going to go to my utils, and I'm just going to do this and remove that. I'm going to add this in the comments, and then do a to-do. Implement in the next stream. Implement. Yeah, so we'll save that for later, but for now, this is only going to work just for now. But this is not a good way to do it, but it's just to fix the issue. We will fix it in the next stream. So let's take a look, see if that fixed it. It should have. Yeah, perfect. So now we're getting our Strapi image, we're getting our stuff. So now we could take a look quickly at our, I'll do another 12 minutes of streaming. So we'll take a look at the next step. So we want to add our music underneath here. And before we add our music, let's quickly kind of talk about, so again, I'm not building anything from scratch. I'm using waveserver.js. It's a library, and they have a React example. And what I did is I took this example and I made it to fit my needs. So, and if you kind of want to, yeah, to fit my needs. And so I'm going to show you the code. And then if anybody interested, I'll share the link to the repo here. If you want to see, I have just an example for the music. You could find it here. I'll share the link for anybody that's interested. But for now, we're just going to work slowly. So I'm going to create a new component, and I'm going to call it new file. And this is going to be inline music player, just because the way I created it. Player.tsx. Yeah, like Copilot always something. And so let me go here, components, custom, inline music player, a copy. And we'll probably need to install those libraries, but basically we'll walk through the code. So yeah, I need to install a bunch of stuff. So I need to install Wavesurfer, the React component, and the actual JS library, I think. So let's go here, package. Yeah, so I need to install at wavesurfer.js. Dude, are you serious? Number. I'm gonna say it's a number. Anyway, so we'll take a look at this in a second, but first thing I gotta do is stop my application and do yarn add Wavesurfer React. And basically the code that I have here, it's literally based on the docs. So that's why it's important to read the docs. Very similar. I just maybe did few things to change how the player looks and functions. This is how their player looks. If you look at another website where I implemented it, this is how my player looks, right? So I made like few different changes here. I also added like a different loading state. Let me see here at the comments. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's me Friday crying single night by myself because that's how I roll. You know, I got just yeah. Yeah. So if we take a look at the code, basically, I am using the thing that I didn't create myself. I do have a nice little spinner loader that I created using Lucid React library. And you could look more at this code at the link that I shared. But basically, what we're going to do here, we have our music player and the data that it needs. I don't know why I'm showing you the rest of the code because we could just see it here. So the data structure that it requires a title, an artist, an image, and the audio file. And we could actually get this data from an API that I already have available. But because there's a lot of work to do, we have to add this collection. Let's just do well, whatever. We'll see. So we probably will work on this next stream, because here's the steps. We have the video. We have the audio player. We know the data structure that it accepts. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create this in Strapi. So in Strapi, what I would do, and I'll do it quickly now. So here, I'm going to create a new collection type. In content type, we're going to create a new collection type. It's going to be called song, and it's going to be our songs. And our song should have a title. So I'm going to create text called title. Then add another field. Then our song should have an image. So I'm going to create an image media file called image. It's going to be single media. If you go to advanced, you could just say, hey, I only want images. That's what we're going to do. Then we're going to go add another field. And so our player expects an audio file. So we're going to go ahead, create another media. We're going to call it audio. It's going to be single media. Advanced, we only want audio files. And click finish. So title, image, and audio. Click save. So now what I could do is I could create a song. Create a song. We're going to call it whatever, song. We're going to add an image. Add more assets. That looks good. And then we need to add a audio file. Add more assets. Do I have a song on this computer? Yep, I have this one. Open, upload. Okay, so we did that. So we added our song, our image, and our audio. Click save. But we also have artists, and we could tie it to our user, but I'm going to make the artist separate, and then I'll tie a user to like an artist, because not all users are going to be artists. And so on the user, we'll eventually have a role, but depending on the role, they'll either be an artist or like whatever. So we're actually going to create another collection, and we're going to call it, let's see, what the hell? We're going to call it artist. So create a new collection type. You're going to say artist and continue. And for our artist, for now, our artist has a name. We're going to have a name. And for now, we're going to keep it as well. We could also add an artist image. Let's do that. Let's add an image for artist. Advanced settings. We only want images. Finish. And save. So now what we want to do, go back to our song. And our song will have a relation. So an artist could have many songs. Click finish and save. So now what I'm able to do inside my content manager, under songs, I'm able to add a artist. So let me go add an artist first. Create a new artist. Hot turtle.
add an image. Why not? I'll just add an image that already exists. Finish and save. And then we could also add a song. Save now. So now we are able to query our songs. But in order to query songs, let's publish. Yes, publish. And let's publish our artist. So now if we go to settings, we go to roles. Under public, we want to make sure that we find one and find. We could just use find, but we'll do find and find one for artist and for songs. And save. So now when we make a request in Insomnia to API songs, we are going to get our songs. And in order to get the artist, we need to populate all the stuff. And I think I'm going to save that for next stream. So we know that in our API inside our Strapi backend, we created this structure that our music player expects, right? We have our title, our artist, our image, and our audio. So we know that we have the required data that our media player needs. And so in the next stream, what we're going to do is we're going to get our data from our songs, and we're going to get it inside our remix application. And then we're going to populate our songs and populate that stuff. So you know what? It's much more work left, but at least we have our... Did my application die? Did I? Hold on. Yeah, I stopped it. I'm like trying to figure out why it's not working. Yarn dev, because it's not running. Let me see, the backend's running. Yeah. And so let's refresh. Nice. So we have our navigation, which has our hero section. I mean, we have our main page that has a hero section. We have our music page, which is dynamically created from our Strapi app, which has our hero section. So next, just like we have in this other website that I did, we're going to make sure that my website kind of looks similar to this. We're going to have our hero section, and then we're going to have our music similar to what we have here. So we're going to do that in the next stream. I think we're making progress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just commit the changes that I have now. So get status, get add. So let's see. Yeah, we created a new content type for our pages. We add a bunch of stuff. So I'm just going to add it and get push to push. Wait, you got to do get commit first, Paul. Get commit message. Did a thing. That is going to be the most annoying message that anybody could ever read in my repo. And then we're going to push it. And let me find the repo. I'll share it here for anybody that's interested. For the few of you that are still here, that you could actually check out the repo and look at the code. I forgot what the hell I called it. Remix. Dude, I always forget. How do you get get origin URL? What's the command for that? I always forget. Get remote URL. Yeah, how do I get my remote URL? Get remote show origin. That sounds easy enough. That's so here we go. Let me go look it up here. Yeah, so yep. So here is where we're building this project. So I'm going to share it here in the comments. So you all could take a look at the code. You could review the previous streams that we've been doing and stuff like that. Also, like, I want to say thank you for anybody who stops by Fridays. I know it's like like Friday. First of all, it's boring to watch someone code. So thank you for stopping by. Also, Friday night is a tough time for a lot of folks. This is just the time this is the only time I have free. And so this is the only time I'm able to stream. I'll make some more videos on my channel. I know some people like that when I make videos. But we'll continue building out the website that we're building. and we're doing it in Remix. And anytime you have questions, let me know. You could clone this project. You could try it out. If you have any questions around Strapi, Remix, or even Next.js, you could ask. What else? That's pretty much it. If you like music, I'm an amateur musician, or trying to be. You could always follow me on my SoundCloud. And I'm actually trying to build another project where I could just easily listen to my music. mymusicbuddy.com. This is not even done, not even close, but you could try to break it and then send me the bugs. It doesn't have any cool features. I literally just only implemented the sign in and sign up. But once you sign up, right, I need to fill this out, but like I already have a user. Once you sign in, nothing happens because I didn't build anything out here, but I just implemented the sign-in logic with stuff. Yeah. So anyway, that's the side project I'm doing. I realize I'm not sharing my screen. It doesn't matter. So anyway, thank you all for being here. I love you all. And I guess I'm gonna leave you here today. Thank you so much. I will make more videos. Without you, this channel would not exist. I love you all. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you. And you all have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you in the next stream. Bye, everybody.